In this video, we're going to disassemble the front doors of this Suzuki APV and disassemble the window glass and all of the components on that door. Alright, so we're going to start disassembling the internal trim first. A good idea is to have a box to put all the parts in, also some snap lock bags to put any screws or bolts into so we don't lose them. Okay, so we're going to start taking off the mirror first, and we do that just by removing this piece of plastic. It just pretty much just pulls straight off, and then that will allow you to get to these bolts here to unscrew the mirror. So those bolts are just 10mm bolts, and then obviously loosen them up. You'll need to support the mirror when it comes out so it doesn't drop onto the floor. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is just remove the trim off the door, so the handles, winder, and then the door trim panel. These two are easy. These are just Phillips head screws. I'll leave the handle till last. I'll do this one first. So Phillips head screw to remove that, and then this will just lift out, but the actual handle is attached to a metal rod, and you just need to remove the linkage off it. So to remove that linkage, you'll see like a green tab. The top part pretty much just needs to slide off the main bar. So in this case here, it will get pulled to the left towards the away from the door, and then the metal bar is like a hook shape, and it sort of hooks into where the bottom part. So the next thing to remove is the window winder. Just to make things a bit easier later on, well, it's not really that important, but I'm just going to wind it all the way down. Actually, one important thing to know is the position when it's fully wound up. So the other driver's door, it actually sort of points in this direction, but that's just where it should probably be when the window's all the way up. But I'm just going to wind it all the way down for now, because it's going to help with the next stage when I remove the glass. So to remove this handle, there is like a metal clip on the inside of it. You can use a tool like this to slide behind it and then dislodge the metal clip. Other ways I've seen people do this is use a rag, and you slide a rag behind it to pull and catch the metal clip. Some cars this works for, sometimes it doesn't. Another way is just to use an oil pick and then you sort of just hook behind and pull the clip out. So I'm going to do it for this one because I know that's the best way. Alright, so I don't know how well you can see that on the camera, but there is a metal clip right there. You might sort of just be able to see a bit of it. And all I'm going to do is use this oil pick to pretty much just hook behind it and then just pull it out that way, because that's going to be the easiest way to take it off this door. And you can sort of see it's dislodged there now. There it is there. That's what it looks like. And now the handle should just pretty much just slide off. Alright, to remove the handle, it's just 2 screws here using a Phillips head screwdriver. So that's pretty easy. Now to remove the door trim itself, panel, there are clips behind this, and if you run your hand along it, you'll feel circular shaped clips. That's the location of them. The other one there, and there'll be one down the bottom there. The best way to remove them is use trim removal tools. So depending on the location, you might find that one tool works better than the other. But it's more of the case of sliding the tool in and then just lifting up where the actual plastic clip is, and then do that all the way around until the panel is removed. Alright, so now the trim panel is removed. This plastic sheet behind it, the purpose of that is just to protect the door trim, the cardboardy wood material of the door trim from absorbing moisture. So water will make its way through the door because there's spots at the top where the glass slides in and out. Water can come through, and there's drain holes at the bottom of the door to allow it to run through. So some water will get through, but generally the seals near the window will stop it. Normally you wouldn't just take this entire thing off. If you're working on one particular part of the door, you would just peel back where you're working. But because this entire door is going to be disassembled and go into scrap metal, I will just peel this entire thing off just so we can have a clear view of the parts. Alright, because the window is going to come out, in order to do that you need a bit more room at the top. So this piece of rubber along here, that can actually come out. It's only sort of just held in on its own, so if you get a tool behind it, you can work it up and do that all the way along, and then it will just literally just slide off the channel. Alright, so to remove the glass, I'll just wind it up a bit just so we can see. There's a couple of places where the actual window glass is held onto this runner down here. So you've got a screw here, that's a Phillips head screw. So that one needs to come out, and then of course if you follow that rail along, there's another one on the other side, or the other end. So take the screw out, and then you've got to dislodge it from there, but we'll get both screws out first. And to get the other one, just you have to wind the window back down, and then you can access it through here. And then just the same again, just take out the screw. Now in order to allow the glass to sort of maneuver a bit in the door to get it out, there's a bolt here that attaches to the actual channel that the glass slides down, and if you remove that, it allows the channel to sort of move a bit to allow the actual glass to come out at a different angle. So that bolt just needs to be removed. Alright, so the next part, we need to actually dislodge the glass from this rail, and it will pretty much just pull forward. So that's that side dislodged. You've got to do the same to both sides, but what I find easier is flipping it, because if it goes like that, where you put the screw thread in, it just still holds it in place. You want to get that onto the other side, so just maneuvering that there, and then wind down the window a bit, and then try and like clip it to the other side, just like that. And then it should hold itself in place, and then just do the same to the other end. And the glass will be loose, but be careful that it doesn't just drop down. So to remove the actual glass, you have to sort of lift it up, but tilt it towards the hinges at the same time. So I'll try and demonstrate it, but it doesn't always come out first go. All right, so the next part that needs to come out is obviously the key lock, which is up here, because the replacement door obviously has a lock which uses a different key, so that needs to be changed over. And you can see like a little purple clip. You just lift up on that purple clip and then the bar will come loose. There's also like a metal bracket that holds that lock in place, and that will pretty much just need to be pulled up. If I can record it, but my hand's going to be in the way, so you won't really be able to see much. But so you can sort of see that bracket at the back. Lift that up and then the lock will just come out from the outside. It's okay, I can get that piece that fell down. Alright, so the next component I want to remove is the central locking motor. A central locking motor attaches to the actual door lock, attaches to these rods in here too. So that wiring leads all the way back to here. Undo that rubber boot and there will be a connection underneath here. I think I need to take out the glove box to do that. Alright, so to remove the glove box, it pretty much just, you bend in the sides like that, and then it will drop down a little bit lower, and then it'll just literally lift off like that. And then underneath there should be room, I think that's the connector just here. So undo that connector and then undo the rubber boot and thread the cable through. Haven't tackled the driver's side yet. So if you just pull on it, it'll come undone. There's a little plastic clip that holds that connector to the wall, and then press down on that button and you should just be able to separate the two. There we go. So that should thread through the hole that's here and then come out. Alright, so if I undo this rubber boot, I should be able to get that cable to come through. So if you're just changing over the central locking motor, you wouldn't need to undo all this wiring. So you can just undo the connector here. The way I did that is just use a flathead screwdriver behind there to push down on that little tab here, and then that connector will come out. But for the purpose of this, I'm going to undo all of this, and then the wiring will just slide out as one piece. Alright, so I'm going to start undoing the motor. It looks like that bolt there, maybe that too, but I'll figure it out. I'll have to fiddle around and see whether the lock needs to come out at the same time. But what I want to do now is just disconnect the rods that attach to it. So they're all similar connections to like what we had up here. There's one on the snipper button as well. That will just unscrew, but the other end is attached to the lock. The same as the key lock and also the external handle. So I'll just undo all of them. Right, so what I've done, I've taken out these 3 screws here around the lock. I've taken that bolt out. That one is actually for the window winder mechanism. I'll do that after. So technically the actual lock, everything should just be loose in the door there. And the whole thing should just come out as one unit. So it's very wobbly. And I've disconnected all the rods. So yeah, it's loose. I just need to maneuver it out. Alright, so this is what it looks like when it's removed. And I've just left these rods on. That one doesn't look like it undoes. Not easily. And that's for the key lock. So I'll just keep them with that as a spare part. Okay, so to remove the winder mechanism, it's all of these screws here. I've adjusted the winder so the mechanism, the scissors, have sort of closed all to that point, just to make things a bit easier. Some of these screws are very hard to get out. If you've got an impact driver that can do screws, use that. Okay, and then just feed it all out. Alright, so I'm just going to start taking the rubber off the door. So this piece here, which sits along the glass, that just pretty much just lifts straight off. So with the door rubber, there are little like plastic hooks that sort of grip into it to hold it. I'll just undo this one here and you'll sort of see that clip sort of goes into a hole in the rubber, and then that's pretty much what holds it on. So you got them all the way around. So I'll just undo all of those. So some of those clips came out with the rubber. So if you buy a new rubber, they may or may not come with them on there already. And then along the top, it pretty much just sits in that trail. There's nothing holding it on at the top. Alright, to remove the channel that the glass sits in, it's pretty much the case of just pulling down on it. I don't know if I can get you a good view of it, but inside the door there's like a bracket that holds it against the door. The bottom one's loose because we undid that bolt. But if you pull down on it, it will come off, and then you'll be able to just peel it out of the window. Alright, so the last bit of hardware to remove off the door is the check strap. What I'll do, I'll just disconnect it from the actual body first of all. That is a 12mm socket. Alright, so to remove that check strap, you take off that plastic cover, and then there are 2 nuts under here that you need to undo. Alright, so with those bolts removed from the check strap, you just remove it by bringing it inside the door cavity. So that's what that looks like. Alright, so I'm at the stage now where I want to just remove the door and take it off its hinges. What I've done, I've put a towel behind it here because there's no rubber on there anymore, and then taped the door to the B-pillar there. Keep in mind that if you're putting a door on or taking a door off that's got all the hardware in there, it's going to weigh quite a lot more. But what I'm planning to do is just loosen up the hinges, so you've got 2 bolts on each of those, and then take it right off the door. Alright, so that'll conclude this video on the door. I need to clean up all these bits here before the replacement door goes back on. But that's pretty much it. So I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching my videos.